What's up, guys? How you doing? I'm Paul.
I'm Morgan.
Today's video, Anne Hathaway. Oh, Anne.
Anne.
Really? You have to go there? I really
Luca is disgusted.
Yeah, absolutely he is, and he has a right to be. Luca has a right to be because Anne is stepping on his little tiny toes with her comments.
It's true.
I will always have a soft spot in my heart for Anne Hathaway, going back to the Mia Thermopolis, Queen of Genovia days. Or at least I think I will, but maybe not. If she keeps making comments like this, we're about to get to it. These comments are not just unsettling, but I would go as far as to say with confidence, these are twisted. What kind of mental place do you have to be to make comments like this with no shame, without even blinking an eye?
Hollywood mental.
Man, I just expect more from these people. I do.
I don't know why. What makes you think you're going to get more or better?
Lord, bring revelation, Lord. Bring eyes that are open and hearts that are open to receive. Soften hardened hearts, Lord, because this stuff is not okay. It's not okay.
It's not okay. But before we continue talking, make sure you subscribe to this channel. We give commentary on culture, social issues, and faith to help you be in the world,
but of the word. We had a few technical difficulties figuring out which live stream we were supposed to be on. We got it figured out, but if you guys don't mind, show a little love, give this video a thumbs up, help out those algorithms. Also, you guys, we have 300 plus patrons over on the Patreon community, in the Patreon community, and we invite you guys to be part of that. The Patreon community rocks. We give them special perks, patron-only Zoom calls where we get to connect with you guys face-to-face. We do short weekly encouragement videos. And then ultimately, you guys, the content that we make here, tackling topics like this, like the overturning Roe v. Wade, like these cultural relevant topics that the mainstream world frowns on, and it causes our haters to literally reach out to our brand deals and try to get them to drop us. We've had brand deals drop us. If you guys believe in this content, let's push back. Let's show the world, no, there's actually a large amount of people, of conservative Christians, that do support this type of content, that do want these people like us and other people to stay on the platform and have a voice and continue to put out the messages. If you guys believe in that, consider supporting us on Patreon. It's the reason we're able to be here and do what we do. The link is below. Morgan, let's go. Anne Hathaway on The View this week, and she said some stuff.
Yes, she did.
Any final thoughts before we just play the first clip of this?
No, I say we just play it.
All right, Queen of Genovia, clip number 1. I have condensed down and I've sped it up almost the entirety of her dialogue, her speech, if you will, whatever you want to call it, discourse. So this is almost all of it. Not quite, but almost. Here's the first clip.
Wrote this on Instagram, quote, "I am struck by the fact that the young female characters in this movie built their lives and careers in a country that honored their right to have choice over their own reproductive health. See you in the fight." So why did you write that? Why was it important to you to write something like that?
Because we're in the fight.
Yeah.
We're in the fight every day. We're in the fight every minute. And you mentioned the Devil Wears Prada turning sweet 16.
Yeah.
Some 16-year-old's life has been irrevocably changed.
All right. A lot just happened there. Sped up. Joy Behar, every liberal's favorite Joy Behar, has said, "I saw that you wrote this letter or whatever. You're talking about the Devil Wears Prada." And she goes on to say in the letter, they just read it. Right?
Yeah.
Kicking things off, it's interesting that they're referring to a fictional movie to move into the state of our country right now.
And the Devil Wears Prada. I have no idea how they were able to tie those two together, but they were. The 16-year-old movie and 16-year-old girl and her reproductive rights, and they are in the fight. I thought that was very, very dramatic of Anne Hathaway to be like, because we're in the fight. We're in the fight every day. It's very dramatic.
Well, it's interesting, Morgan, that the Devil Wears Prada, what is the ultimate message that you take away? And guys, there's a lot more we're about to get into. But when you watch the Devil Wears Prada, I've seen it. You've seen it. Pretty good movie.
Yes.
it's showing these fashionistas enter the fashion rat race. And I'm having a little trouble remembering, but isn't kind of like the message, the takeaway that, and maybe I'm wrong here, but like that the rat race is exactly that. It's a rat race that you actually should pull back from a little bit and not become this like work obsessed feminist. Am I wrong? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, I think like at the end, Anne Hathaway's character realizes like it's not worth losing. Like her career is not worth losing. Her friendships, her relationship, um, all that stuff.
So it's interesting that right out of the bat, they're referring to this, the 16th anniversary of this movie, to just jump right into Anne saying, in this movie, I'm so glad that they had the freedom to abort their babies and follow their dreams.
Right.
Now let's look at the state of America. Let's keep playing it.
Yeah. Because of the current overturning of Roe v. Wade. And in this character, I played a young woman who was starting out her career. And when you are a young woman starting out your career, your reproductive destiny matters a great deal.
Of course. Yeah.
And it had just happened, and I think about it all the time. I think we all think about it all the time, and what its implications are.
Your reproductive rights, or whatever she called it, matter when you're starting out your career. To me, that's like so twisted, because she's saying just like, a woman who is starting out working in whatever type of job, just starting out her brand new career, if she finds out she's pregnant, she absolutely deserves to abort that baby so that she can continue seeking her dreams. And that's just disgusting to me. This is what our world has come to. America has come to. Such selfishness. I'm just grossed out by it.
Is that because I genuinely I want to go and play the next clip, but as we play the next clip, I'm watching Anne, and it's not like we're angry at Anne. It's not like we have hatred for Anne or for any of this panel. But I'm just watching like, how can Anne say this with so just like a straight face, so nonchalantly, she's actually passionate, obviously, about the topic.
Yeah.
And they're leaving out this massive, massive piece of what the abortion topic is, which is that there's the factor of the baby. Let's just play the third clip, because we're about to get into a lot.
If I were to play that role nowadays, I couldn't take that for granted. I couldn't take that freedom for granted, the freedom of choice. And by the way, this is not a moral conversation about abortion.
Right.
This is a practical conversation about women's rights. And by the way, human rights, because women's rights are human rights. And the freedom that we all need to be able to choose and build our lives.
All right, so that was really an interesting clip. And she hasn't even said the line that caught the most people's attention out of this interview, or whatever you call it, where she talks about the mercy aspect. But ultimately what she just said there was, she said, it's not an ethical conversation. It's
moral.
She said, let's pull back, not a moral conversation. This is a practical conversation about women's rights. Women's rights are human rights. And let's just think about that for a minute. Let's just pull back and think about what she just said. And also, I just, as I'm watching this, it's so easy, and I think this is where just liberalism at its core, it kind of has this facade of, we are the empathetic, we are the loving, we are the merciful.
Yeah.
And that is what so many young women that could watch this, this is Anne Hathaway, we look up to Anne Hathaway, Princess Diaries, ooh!
Okay.
Sorry. I get worked up. But I felt like I was just mimicking
Yes.
what's his name?
Dylan
Savani?
Something.
That's literally how he comes across on his TikTok. Mulvaney. Dylan Mulvaney. But no, you could watch that and be like, wow, Anne and these other 4 or 5 women panel of The View, and I think one of them is kind of a Republican. She didn't look like she was pushing back at all there. But you look at that and you're like, huh, that comes across as compassionate and justice, and standing for compassion and justice and mercy. Okay, let's get out of our feels a little bit, liberals. Is that compassionate? She's saying it is. And I would just ask, where did she says, this is a practical conversation about women's rights. Women's rights are humans' rights. Is it not fair to ask or to bring up someone saying, let's go back to slavery? And I know, like, oh, don't make comparisons. I'm just asking, okay? Morgan, tell me if I'm crazy.
Okay.
Could we not have said that about slave owners? Could we not have said, as she said, it's a practical conversation about women's rights? Could we not have said, hey, no, slavery is actually, the people that are against slavery, cut that out. This is about slave owners' rights. They have farms, they have plantations to take care of. And if we suddenly abolish slavery, think about them. Their lives are going to be greatly, they're going to be in distress to keep up with the demands.
Yeah.
Is that not fair? It's going to be a big inconvenience to their lives and to their life goals, because there are a lot of these young plantation owners that have big dreams and big goals. And you're going to strip their slaves away? Am I not allowed to say this stuff? Because I think it's relevant. Because slave owners' rights are humans' rights.
Oh.
Am I not allowed to say that? What do you guys think? I think that there's definitely overlap there.
Yeah. It is very interesting.
And I see someone in the comments, this is so disingenuous, Paul. Hey, I'm not being disingenuous. I think it's an absolutely, I'm not saying like they're the exact same, obviously, but I think that's a very healthy comparison. Why is it so ridiculous for someone like Anne Hathaway and all these liberals and all these liberal elites and celebrities? Oh no, let this woman chase her career and abort her baby because of it's getting in the way of her dreams of becoming a fashionista. Why can't we take it back to slavery? I'm leaving that question up to you guys. Comment in the comment section. Let's play the next clip.
Without going into too many details, my own personal experience with abortion, and I don't think we talk about this enough, abortion can be another word for mercy. We don't know. It's not a world in which we know that no two pregnancies are alike, and it follows that no two lives are alike. That follows that no two conceptions are alike. So how can we have a law? How can we have a point of view on this that says we must treat everything the same? And where?
Okay, I had not seen that. That's wow. Abortion. Another word for abortion could be mercy.
Mercy.
What in the heck? So one of the most common questions I've been asked since having my very traumatic birth experience is, now do you see why women should have the right to choose? They shouldn't be forced to birth a child if they're afraid to, if they aren't ready, if they're blah blah blah. Do you see it? Do you get it now? Do you agree now? And my answer is absolutely not. I would go through what I went through a million more times for this human right here. And not because I am, not even just because he's my son, obviously, but because he's a human and he deserves life. And because I chose to have sex and I got pregnant from it, and that is my choice. It was my choice to have sex, knowing that sex is for reproducing. That's what it is made for, okay? Yes, it is for pleasure and other that too, but reproduction is what sex was made for, and I did it knowing that I could get pregnant from it. And so I do not have sympathy. I'm sorry, I don't, for women who know that having sex leads to pregnancy, could lead to pregnancy, and they decide to abort the baby because they're not ready or because they desire to fulfill their dream career or become an Olympian, whatever, athlete. I don't have sympathy for that. I think that you have got to humble yourself and just stop being selfish. It's selfish. It's really disgustingly selfish to say that your career is more important than a human life.
Morgan, I was sitting in the car with Luca yesterday, and you know how, and I love what you're saying, and that's super cool to hear. You know how sometimes like you just envision what maybe could happen, just like kind of something crazy could happen. I was sitting in the car with him, and I was thinking to myself, what if suddenly a carjacker were to like open the side door and be like, point a gun at me and say, get out of the car right now. And I would be like, just like, what would my response be? And I would be like, no, I got a baby in the back seat. You're going to have to kill me before you take this car. And of course I would try to use one of my moves on him and grab the gun. But
yes.
I'm thinking to myself, okay, we got a baby that's a month and 2 weeks old, and we are, both of us would, without hesitation, put our lives on the line for him. And yet there's all these, half the country almost, hopefully it's getting less and less, that are willing to not just, I'm not really going to put my life on the line to protect my baby, but actually I'm going to go the opposite, and I'm going to, hey, go ahead and rip this baby to shreds inside of my womb because I got dreams.
Yeah. Yeah, it is insane to think, well, people just need Jesus. Anne Hathaway needs Jesus.
You're right.
It's like, it's hard to, we can't expect anything from anyone who doesn't know Jesus. Because when you don't know Jesus, you don't have a genuine morality, like, leading you in your life. Like, you just don't. You might have some good in you, but that's a reflection of your creator, whether you want to acknowledge him or not. But you don't have a true, genuine direction of what is truly good and what is truly evil. And so many people, Anne Hathaway, like, she does not know Jesus. And so, of course, it's whatever. Like, you know, we're calling good things evil and evil things good.
We're calling killing of a unborn baby, a preborn baby, mercy. Because of human rights.
Yeah.
Oh. And that's where I'm just flabbergasted that she can give that spiel in just with like good conscience.
It's wild.
And you're talking about like she needs Jesus. Absolutely. And ultimately we cannot hold the secular people, non-believers, non-Christians to a standard of a Christian. We can't, obviously. But I liked what Allie B, kind of one of her quotes, I just saw her post this on Twitter. She said, politics matter because policy matters because people matter. And I'm just like, so many Christians, oh, I don't want to get into politics. Christians shouldn't get into politics. I saw someone comment that on one of our things. And it's like, no, policy matter. Policies matter. People matter. And what the law of the land is has an effect on not just like the Christians, but just normal people that are like, just the average American puts a lot of their kind of moral code. A lot of it rides on just what is the law. And so when the law was, oh, you can knock your baby out, you can, get your baby aborted up to the full term or even after the pregnancy, whatever. If that's the law, people are kind of like, okay, people that maybe aren't as aware and up on stuff. Sure. Well, if it's the law, and now that the law has been overturned and so many states are choosing life, we will likely see a shift. Yeah. So I think that's beautiful. But yeah, before we play the next clip, just that you can equate, and I'm not trying to just be one-sided here and be like, I have no idea where she's coming from. Like, I do see where she's coming from, and I think you hit the nail on the head in many respects of now our culture is so self-centered that this stuff has just become normal, where you could actually say that abortion is merciful.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming that she's saying for the mother.
Right.
But just ignore the whole other side of it.
But also maybe for the baby too, because a lot of people say, well, I wouldn't be able to take care of this kid, so the best thing for this kid is to end its life. Like, it's so sick.
You know what it reminds me of? Avengers Infinity War, when at the beginning Thanos is going around with his like evil minions, and the guy goes to the people and he's like, rejoice and be glad, Thanos is murdering you, but rejoice because it's all for the best for the world.
Yeah.
That's sick, dude. That's sick. And I know I tend to get kind of passionate with this topic. Also, it's just been one of those days where I've just been, I need the Lord's help. Like I've just been kind of stressed today and on the brink of just like, oh Lord, I've got a lot going on. And so I think it's kind of coming out a little bit. So have grace with me, you guys. Mm-hmm. But nevertheless, I don't take back, at least as of right now, maybe when I rewatch this, I'll be like, ooh, I could have said that better. But I don't take back anything that I've said thus far. Morgan, just real quick, before we play the next clip, have I said anything that's made you be like, ooh, maybe Paul, you should have worded that better? I'm genuinely willing to hear that.
I don't know.
Because obviously the people that don't like us standing for life so adamantly are going to be like, Paul, how dare you say this? That was awful, which I already saw some, there's people that don't like it, but
right.
Someone that is pro-life, did I still maybe go a little too far in something I said?
I think you've done all right.
My wife gives me the thumbs up. Let's play the next clip.
Same. And where I come at it from is when you allow for choice, you allow for flexibility, which is what we need in order to be human. So anyway, I just wanted to include that part. Especially for that. It's not set in stone. Just because you get pregnant doesn't mean you get to keep that baby.
Yeah, it's a health decision.
And it can be. It really can be.
Yeah.
Well, thanks, Whoopi, jumping in at the end there with it's a personal decision.
Well, at least she called it a baby and not the fetus. Which makes it even darker that she recognizes it's a baby and it's fine if you want to kill it. Ay, ay, ay.
Ay, ay, ay. Ay, ay, ay.
Messed up. It's just the reason I am just like that much more firm on where I stand in pro-life, my pro-life decision after my traumatic birth is that a human being came out of me. Like, no matter what I went through, a human being came out of me. Not a little fetus, not a little mushy cell. From the beginning of conception, he was a human.
Glob of cells is what they say.
Right.
One cell would be very small.
Whatever. And, like, he just deserves life. And every baby that is conceived deserves a chance at life. And this idea that we get to be dictators and choose who gets to live and who gets to die is gross and wrong, evil, and especially for the majority of the reason, which is fear or selfishness of I want to pursue a career, I'm not ready for a baby.
It's kind of like, okay, do that and take sex out of that equation, and go for it.
Yeah.
Go for it. Do your career stuff. Once you have sex, baby is growing inside of you, a preborn baby. I'm sorry, but you have that baby and you protect that baby and you love that baby. And then you can give it up for adoption. You can give him or her up for adoption. You got options. You do have choices.
Yeah. You do have choices, but one of them is not to end the baby's life. It should not be. That should never be a choice. Ever.
So Anne Hathaway, you gave your spiel, your convictions. We just gave our convictions in our rebuttal. And now you guys, ultimately you get to decide. I would say if you are someone who genuinely is on the fence, which that absolutely exists. There are plenty who are like, yeah, I just don't know. I see. And I think I heard, was it Bill Maher or Joe Rogan? Maybe both of them are kind of like, I see both sides. Or Bill Burr, these comedians that are kind of like middle of the road. I see both sides. It is a baby growing in there, but it's also hasn't come out yet. Or like if you're kind of on the middle of the road, in the middle of the road, seek the Lord, read God's word, and I think you will quickly see. I'm trying to just think of like other resources. Follow live action. Follow these. Actually do research and see what's going on here. Because when you don't do any research and then you see the way that mainstream media and the celebrities and just left-wing politicians, they try to make it look like, oh, when I don't like using the word because I don't want to get demonetized. We might already get demonetized, but when the abortion
I don't save it.
when it happens, what's really taking place is just nothing's really, just glob of cells, and they get it out of there and you're good to go. No, like, it's horrific. It's horrific. Do your research. Watch the movie Unplanned. Read about it, about what's actually happening. Watch live action, the videos they make, the resources that they put out. Do your research. Spend some time really seeking the Lord on it. And yeah, that's what I would encourage.
Yeah.
Final word, Morgan?
Save the babies.
Amen. Amen. Guys, comment below. Let us know where you're at with it. If you are a very pro-choice person, maybe you call yourself a pro-choice Christian, or you're not a Christian, but you're just extremely pro-choice, be respectful in the comments. And I welcome those comments. I do. But I would love to see the pro-lifers in the comments really light up that comment section. Stand for life, baby. Come on. All right. Love you guys very much. Play the end screen, and then we will be right back with those in the live stream. Have hope.
And be free.
Hey guys, as you may have noticed, we get very few brand deals, which is why our patrons, the names you see here, are so important.
You guys really are the lifeblood of this ministry. We could not do this without you all. If you believe in this content and you want to partner with us on Patreon, click the link below or just go to patreon.com/paulandmorganshow.